Tell us a little bit about this initiative that you've managed to co-form here with Congressman Roy, this caucus, the Sharia Free America Caucus. Tell us about it.
The Sharia Free America Caucus is going to be the educational platform that we raise the attention, we raise the awareness of the encroachment of Sharia law across America. Look, Chip and I did it because North Texas is the epicenter of the invasion of Sharia. Dearborn, Michigan is obviously the well-known place, but it's spreading. And this is not a religion. This is a legal code that demands submission. In fact, that's what Islam means. It means submission. They're very nice when they're in the minority. When they make the majority, or when they reach a tipping point, it becomes a culture of domination. So that's why we're doing this, because more people need to understand. And frankly, that's why Senator Tuberville of Alabama is supporting our caucus, because he tells us that northern Alabama is undergoing the same invasion. So it's something we've got to educate both our colleagues in the Congress and the American people on.
Well, it's a wonderful first start, a wonderful first start, and it's something that I've been preaching in my own capacity for many years now, and I'm so happy that folks there in Congress are trying to lead by example when it comes to this Sharia Free America Caucus. What has the reception been? You know, I see in the press release on your official website, keithself.house.gov, I see a quote not just from you and your colleague in the House, Congressman Roy, but also from Senator Tuberville over on the Senate side. He's been very outspoken about this particular issue. What has the reception been, though, among the Republican caucus there in the House? Have you gotten more folks who've expressed interest in this particular issue besides you and Chip Roy?
Absolutely. Of course, we launched it just a couple of days before we left for the Christmas break. But yes, we've had several indicate interest. In fact, I was talking to a man, and I won't mention any names until we officially get them on, walking down the tunnel with him. Not a man you would expect. I mentioned it to him, and he said, "Oh, put me on it." I mean, yes, I think this is going to be a very popular caucus because people are starting to realize just the danger that our constitutional republic is in. Our self-governing, based on individual rights, it's under pressure right now from the rise of Sharia.
And can you just give us some example? I think a lot of folks, Congressman, a lot of Texans probably don't necessarily follow some of the details when it comes to some of the communities that have been planned in the suburbs, the East Plano Islamic Center. When it comes to EPIC, the EPIC community in Dallas, for those who are not paying as close attention in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to creeping Sharia supremacism, can you just kind of fill in some of the details as to some of the things that some folks might miss in recent events?
Frankly, there have been like 50 mosques built in North Texas over the last couple of years. Epic City, the one you're referencing there, is over 400 acres in my district that they plan basically a Muslim city. And you would say, why does that matter? Well, they're very clear. They're going to use our contract law, our judicial system against us. It's going to be built around a huge mosque, and this is where you get into the dangerous part. It will be Muslim. The contracts are set up to sell from Muslim to Muslim as you sell your houses. And then what happens if we have a no-go zone for police? I mean, we already see things happening, such as in Dallas, blocking roads for so-called prayer. And there's an example of a woman walking her dog down the sidewalk. A Muslim says, "Don't walk your dog here. It offends me." And I just encourage people to stand up for your own individual rights because it's going to take that. I don't want our citizens to be intimidated. Now, back to Epic City. The governor is well aware of it. The attorney general is well aware of it. And I think the attorney general has sued the developers over fraud. But this is the sort of thing that we've got to pay close attention to because it's not the only one in North Texas. Murphy, another city in my district, has streets. A certain development has got the street names are named after Islamic figures. Josephine, I had a constituent do a wonderful job in front of the Josephine City Council just laying out the issues, the dangers of Sharia, because once they reach a tipping point, It is a culture of domination. They will dominate. They will demand domination. So those are some of the examples right here in North Texas. And then the Houston example, the video that of the imam going around to store owners and saying, you cannot sell haram, things that are banned under Islam. You cannot do that. So, I mean, the intimidation has already started right here in Texas.
Congressman Keith Self is the congressman from Texas' 3rd Congressional District here in the suburbs. Congressman, the point that I was briefly making before we brought you on here was the distinction, which is itself an arguable point. I've heard some people argue against this, between assimilated Islam and Islamism. Is this a distinction that you buy? Do you think that is an intellectually or philosophically sustainable distinction? Because what I do on my own show, Congressman, is I talk about individuals and categories. On an individual level, there are any number, millions and millions of Muslims who are perfectly happy, willing, eager, etc., to assimilate into Western countries, including the United States. But when I think about categories, when I think about not the individual, but the categorical level, it is very, very, very far from obvious to me whether Islam is broadly compatible at a categorical level with Western civilization there. So I'm kind of curious, just for your take, to somewhat provocative lead into a question. I'm kind of curious just for your take on how we should think about these very thorny issues.
Well, a couple of issues here. First of all, it is incompatible with the U.S. Constitution because, as I've said before, we are based on individual rights, matters of conscience. Islam is based on submission to a code, a legal code. Now, to your point, they call Christians like myself infidels. So under the extreme form of Sharia, infidels are worthy of death. There is a certain tax that you can pay, but it's not used under the most extreme jihadists. So now let's talk about the moderate Muslims, whatever you want to call them, moderate Muslims, secular Muslims that want to assimilate. But frankly, they are known as apostates to the jihadists, the extreme jihadist Muslims. And they are under the same legal prohibition that I am, punishable by death. Apostates. So if the jihadists get their way, the moderate Muslims, we'll call them that, who want to assimilate, will either be forced to deny Islam, very hard to do for a Muslim, or they will be forced to submit, or they will be under the punishment of death. So infidels like myself, according to them, and apostate Muslims are under the same punishment under Sharia, the punishment of death.
Hard to argue with that one. That is for sure. That's certainly how I see it, and I very much commend you, Congressman, for your candor, your clarity, and you're seeing this issue. I think as Charlie Kirk very much saw this issue in the final months of his life as well. So I commend you for that. And frankly, as an outside ally and friend of this cause, I wish you and Chip Roy and Senator Tuberville and all who will be involved with the Sharia-Free America Caucus, I wish you guys nothing but the absolute best. I very much look forward to tracking the developments of this closely. So one final time, folks, Congressman Keith Self is the congressman for Texas' 3rd Congressional District. Follow him on X at Rep. Keith Self. Congressman, thank you again for your work on this matter. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well.